Welcome to Teddy's Universe, where we get real wild and we put in work. I said.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Teddy, and man, we had a crazy weekend of NFL playoffs, and we still not done yet because we got 2 games today. We got Buffalo and Pittsburgh, and then we got the Eagles and the Buccaneers, but we just had to touch on the Cowboys' embarrassing, monumental loss yesterday to the Green Bay Packers, in which the Cowboys, I think, were 8-point favorites, I believe. Got the home game, NFC East division winners. Not struggling, but playing. I'm not gonna say the Packers are struggling, but the Packers aren't good. They barely eked into the playoffs as the 7th seed. For context, this is the first time since the new format of the playoffs where they added a 7th seed. This is the first time that the 7th seed has won a playoff game, has beaten the 2 seed. Obviously, it's the Cowboys taking this L. Another tidbit: this is the Packers' 3rd win at AT&T Stadium, which is more than what the Cowboys have at AT&T Stadium because they only have 2. So the Packers have won more in Cowboys Stadium in the playoffs than the Cowboys have since they opened this AT&T Stadium. So little tidbits like that, like the drop or whatever. As you can see, we got the Daxall folks meme. We got this lady who was in utter disbelief when the Packers scored to give them 40, and the score ended up being 48-32. If you didn't watch the game and you see the scoreboard, this game was nowhere near as close as that score seems. It seems like, hey, they lost a shootout or they lost by 2 touchdowns. This game was pretty much over at halftime. Dallas had no answer for the Green Bay Packers. I want to give a shout out to the Packers because, like I was telling my boy Carpe, during like the game, you can really tell like Green Bay really studied. You can really tell like Green Bay actually watched film and they prepared the game plan around all of Dallas' strengths. And not even just the weaknesses, but their strengths. You know what I'm saying? They get game planned around the pass rush of Micah Parsons and company. They game plan around the stellar backfield, which I've been told, of Bland, who leads the league in pick sixes, a lot of interceptions and stuff like that, and then Stephon Gilmore. Just a master class, as I think Greg Olsen said about Matt LaFleur. Just a master class on the offensive end, and then the defense played real up to par. You know what I'm saying? Gave up a couple of touchdowns late to get that score looking a little better, a little respectable than what it was, but defense played really, 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 really good. Pick 6. Couple of interceptions, couple of sacks on timely plays, third and longs, the fourth downs, the forced turnovers on downs. Just all around excellent game for the Green Bay Packers. The Cowboys, as you can see in the Cowboy cycle meme, says that we are here. Says the season starts, they beat up on bad teams. Fans get delusional. We them boys, this our year, and then you choke in the playoffs. And this was completely, utterly, an absolute choke job by the Cowboys. Cowboys had no reason losing this game. You could tell from the get-go that it was going to be rough for them. Dak just seemed to have these plays where he's overthrowing people, he's underthrowing them, and he's throwing passes behind the receiver. And it happens, but it was super consistent. And this late into the season, things like this shouldn't be consistent. Obviously, you could tell somebody got into his ear, or somebody, maybe Mike McCarthy, because they did have video clips of McCarthy talking to CeeDee Lamb. And you could tell they tried to tell Dak to maybe force-feed CeeDee Lamb because he is the focal point of the offense, which there's been like this weird phenomenon this year, and maybe before this year, but noticing in this year that quarterbacks aren't really looking to their number one receivers a lot for some reason. They're throwing the ball to any and everybody, which is spurring a whole nother situation over in Philadelphia with A.J. Brown, who's not even going to be playing tonight. Legend, it's an injury, but I think it's more so of the same situation that we have going on in Dallas and that we have going on at a bunch of other teams. where these quarterbacks are just not looking for their top receivers for some reason. And these receivers are getting paid millions, hundreds of millions of dollars and barely can touch the ball, which doesn't make sense at all. And then we wonder why the offense not flowing smoothly. But that's a conversation for another day. We talk about the Cowboys today. I think it's time to maybe clean house. Mike McCarthy has to go. Certain Cowboys fans told me that Kellen Moore was the problem, and once that he left, the offense has been better. I digress. Cowboys had a really, really light schedule, and then when it's time to play good teams, they don't really play good. Time to play San Fran, they got blown out. When it's time to play somebody else good, they got blown out. They did beat Detroit. I will give them that. They beat Detroit. Very controversial, but they beat them. So give them that. Playing the Packers, who I didn't even consider like a good team, blew them out. Got blown out. So, the coaching definitely needs to change. I feel like everybody touts Dan Quinn as this super, lights out defensive coordinator. He has to go. You just gave up 50 in a playoff game, so at least 43 because one of them was a pick six. So we'll take that out. You gave up 40 in the playoff game. I don't want to hear anything about being a lights out D coordinator. As you can see, the lady's expression, she's in utter shock. Yeah, I think it's time for a clean sweep. You bring Dak back, obviously, but I think it's time to draft one in the. I think it's time to draft a QB in the draft. You know what I'm saying? If I was a GM, if my quarterback's not playing amongst the league best, which is tricky because Dak was playing amongst the league's best, which is it's a tricky situation. But like I was telling my bro about Tua, I was like, you go through the whole season being like in the MVP conversations and you putting up these crazy numbers, but this is where it matters the most. This is when it matters. You have to put up crazy numbers today. Like the way Jordan Love was playing, Jordan Love put up crazy numbers today. Had a rough ass season, but he put up crazy numbers today, and that's what matters the most. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I would take a quarterback and keep taking them. I would take one every year if I had to, you know what I'm saying, until we get one that seems like they could get us over the hump, or we could develop him into getting us over the hump, blah, 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 or whatever. But Cowboys have to make a change. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over. It's just the same cycle over and over and over. Starting to look like it might be ownership. Now, there are some good coaching candidates out there. You got your Bill Belichick's, you got your Nick Sabans, and I know people going to be like, oh, well, those type of coaches not going to want to work under Jerry Jones and stuff like that. Hey, man, if that checkbook looking right, they're going to be up in there. You know what I'm saying? Got your Jim Harbaughs out there. You got your assistant, some coordinators out there if you want to go to like the offensive coordinators to become head coaches, so you got those options out there and whatnot. But it is time to make some changes. You can't keep going this route and expect different results. But, I ain't want to ramble too much along the lines of, half hour, like a TV show or nothing like that. But this was a crazy, crazy upset. And I'm no longer picking with the Cowboys. I'm just going to have to be wrong if they win. Going forward, I've been putting my, super picks into the Cowboys these last few years, especially in the playoffs. And they just been stinker after stinker after stinker. There's no way another team should have more playoff wins in your building than you do. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm done picking with the Cowboys. I'm done, defending Dak. Tony Pollard, who was a free agent, could let him go. They got a whole bunch of free agents. Stephon Gilmore, you can let him go. Like, everybody playing so good during the season, but when it really matters, Stephon Gilmore is getting cooked by somebody who hasn't even been in the league the whole year. You know what I'm saying? Like, inexcusable. Green Bay were doing these option routes where they're faking one way and going the other way, and then they're just super wide open. Like, nobody mentioned nothing all week about them possibly doing option routes. That's what it looked like, because if somebody head moved the right way, the defender is haul-assing to the right, and then they cut back left, and this whole side of the field is wide open. But I digress, you know what I'm saying? They need a clean sweep. They need to get things, you know what I'm saying? What do y'all think it would take to fix the Cowboys? Like, comment, subscribe, share. And I'm Teddy, and we out of here.